that anytime soon.
Yeah.
Recording.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hi.
Hi, Tornisha. Oh, good. I'm glad everybody, or at least some people, are turning on their cameras. Kind of weird talking to a bunch of names. Hi, Victor, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, Tasha?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Just doing a whole lot of studying, trying to get this course done for Indiana.
Good, good. That's good to hear. Doing a lot of studying. Hi, Blossom.
Hi.
This is your first group call, huh?
It is.
Oh, welcome.
You.
Good to see your face. Let's see. So, Jesus, do you have a mic?
Yeah, sorry, I just have to wait for a second.
Oh, it's okay. I just wanted to ask you because when I asked in the Slack channel chat, you had said that, because I asked for topics and you said you would like to discuss buyer and seller presentations and how to set them up to be easily understood.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate on what you meant by that?
So, I've been watching like a lot of videos on how to be like a successful real estate agent, and a lot of the videos that I was watching, the people were talking about how you need to have like a good presentation to take to the seller, to the buyer, or whoever it is that you're presenting it to, and like really narrow down a plan for them, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay. So we actually have some training within Gwilt Group University for buyer and seller presentations, and they do a phenomenal job of walking you through how to set that up and things to say and to make it so that way you win that listing And so if you haven't watched those trainings already, I would definitely go back and watch the NAEA trainings that's within Quilt Group University, because they're really going to help you with walking you through, you know, how to do those. And they are phenomenal at them. They've had, I think they've had in the past like as much as 300 listings in a year. And so they're definitely very, very well versed in how to gain listings and buyers at the same time. So yeah, I would definitely watch that, because we incorporated a lot of their stuff into our presentations for both listings and buyers, because they give you, you can send a video to the client with, once you're NAA certified, you can send a video to the client, either buyer or seller, before you meet them, or, just even talk to them on the phone with why they should choose you and what you can do for them. And then we've also incorporated the buyer questionnaire sheet and the seller questionnaire for sure, just because even though you're not like robotically going through and asking them those questions, it's more of like a conversation, but it helps kind of give you a guideline. You don't have to ask every one of those questions, because there are some questions that are more on the personal side of things, of like, what's your favorite wine or anything like that. And that's just to get to know your client better. And if you wanted to send them a gift in the future, then you kind of know what they like. But not all of those questions that they give you on there are questions you have to ask. But it gives you an idea of what you can ask to the client. There are so many different buyer and seller representations and presentations out there that really you gotta figure out which one works best for you. And the only way to do that, honestly, is just going through and seeing what everybody can offer you. And even within EXP, there are so many people that are willing to share those things. So, just even attending all the listing presentation classes that come up, because I think that might help you too with seeing how somebody does it live. But NAEA, the training within the Quilt Group University, also has, they're also doing it live within there. So I think that would help you to watch those and become a little bit more familiar with those, because to take you through an entire like buyer and seller presentation, that's a lot. And that's why we provide that training to you guys, so that way you can basically emulate what they're doing. You don't have to do it exactly, but just emulating how they're doing things, since they're so successful at listings and buyers.
Okay. I'll write it down and I'll implement that.
And really just utilizing the sources that we are, giving you guys, and this is for everybody, not just Jesus, but just really taking advantage of all of the opportunities that you guys have as interns, taking advantage of your EXP World Passes, requesting those whenever you need them, and sending those requests to skillbridge@quiltgroup.com, just because there's so much training you can do within EXP World. And so if you go to expcloud.com, it gives you a whole list of what trainings they have for the week. So you can pretty much schedule out your whole week just by going to expcloud.com and looking at what trainings they have for the week. So I would actually advise you guys and recommend that at the beginning of the week, maybe on like a Sunday, you go through and you figure out which classes look interesting to you and try to attend those classes. And I would say, at a minimum, doing 2 or 3 per week. Even if you are, going through and just studying for your license, just trying to figure out what you feel like is going to work for you is one of the biggest things, because to make it so the way you're successful, having those things set up even before you're licensed is a good thing to do and a good way to be successful is just figuring out, what you want your lead gen sources are. If you don't know what a lead gen source is, you're probably not to that point in your training yet. But lead gen sources are, where you're going to find clients in order to close deals. So, that's one of the big things that you'll probably want to figure out right after you figure out what your goals are. Goals are the first thing you want to come up with and figure out, what you want to make in a year, and your budget and your marketing costs, who you're going to be contacting. A lot of people go through their sphere of influence to get their leads at first. I know a lot of you are probably relocating to a new area, and then some of you are probably going back home, which is actually a good thing for you, because then that's where all your friends and family and people who know you are. And so I would just start reaching out to them like, hey, I'm studying to get my real estate license. I'm moving back there. I really want to, be able to help you once I move back and get my license. And so you're just starting to put your name out there so that way people know, like, oh, hey, Jesus is going to be licensed and he's my friend. And so I've known him all my life. So I'm going to use Jesus. So, at least they'll know that you're becoming licensed, because you don't want to be like, okay, I'm licensed now. And they're like, oh, shoot, I wish you would have told me I just bought a home. And that would just feel horrible to know that you just got licensed and your friend was like, yeah, I just put an offer in last week on a home. Wish you would have told me this week that you were licensed a month ago. So just making sure that your sources, or your source of influence, your family, your friends, even your coworkers now, you can let them know too, because once you're licensed, you can hook them up with like somebody else that that's a realtor. You find somebody that that's a realtor in that area in order to make a referral off of it. So you can make 25% of whatever the final purchase price is off of just connecting somebody up with an agent. But you have to be licensed once that, in order to get that. But yeah, so you're starting with your lead gen after you figure out, your basically your business planning, what your goals to be, what you want to make in a year. So I would even say that if you haven't done that yet, you should definitely look at figuring out what you want your goals to be in real estate. So, but I mean, there really wasn't, other than just the buyer and seller presentations, I didn't really have like a full-on topic for today. I did want to mention though that we are setting up, it's basically it's like EXP, it's Verbella. So EXP is, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it's hosted off of Verbella. And so basically we bought a suite that is owned by us, so Gwilt Group, to where once we set that up, we can give you guys the password and you can go into that suite. And what is cool about it is that you can even sit there and do your studying, but then anybody else that's around you is also going to be a Gwilt Group intern. So you, instead of, having to meet up in person, you can still do that, obviously. But if you wanted to just chat with somebody that's next to you, you could, have a conversation with them. You could go into the world or into Verbella, into the G Suite, and just, I don't know why I called it a G Suite. It's not a G Suite. But you can go in there and talk to whoever is next to you. And we're basically going to try to get it set up so that way there's also information within that world too. But we hope to get that set up by the next time we hop on a call. So that way you all can go in there, and instead of through Slack, you can hop onto that world and see who's in there. and, just be able to talk to your fellow interns and ask them questions real time. And I could even pop into there and see how everybody's doing and answer your questions on the spot. So we could also do that. But, anybody have any other input for today? I don't want to cut it off because we didn't have one at our regular time this month. So if anybody can think of anything.
I have a question in regards.
Question.
Okay.
So my question is I'm doing the Skillbridge for here in Hawaii, but I'm actually getting licensed in Indiana. Now, when I actually obtain my license, how would I have a sponsor that knows Indiana guidelines and law and everything like that if I'm in Hawaii? Or is there an opportunity for me to actually transition to Indiana and then have a sponsor there locally?
You want to answer this, David?
Yeah, I'll jump in, I guess. So for that, you'll get licensed where you're at. I mean, that's part of the beauty of this, right? Is you can do it from anywhere. Your mentor that you'll get assigned as part of the requirement for EXP, having a mentor for your first 3 deals will be someone in your local area that you're going to practice in. So even before you move, you can get assigned a mentor in Indiana where you're going, right? So we can get you set up with that through the brokerage. And that'll allow you to start asking them questions, et cetera. Every mentor handles what they do differently, right? So we offer in-person activities and stuff out here. That's not necessarily going to be the case when you get assigned one, but you do have the opportunity to ask for reassignment if it's not a good fit for the mentor you get matched with. And a lot of that just depends on how many mentors are available in the area too. I know here in Los Angeles, there's not a ton. Tasha is one, and I think maybe there's 10 others in all of the LA area. So there's not a ton of mentors in the LA area. It is something that EXP is putting more emphasis on over time, is getting more people certified as mentors.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I
you
would
need
just
to
stay
be on
here in
production.
Hawaii till the end of my Skillbridge, and then I would go to Indiana and actually do mentorship.
Yeah, your transition point as far as moving is really up to your own personal decision, right? So if you want to move there prior to the end of your Skillbridge internship, and if your command will allow you to, right? Because there's, not every command does it the same way, right? But per the DoD instructions for Skillbridge, et cetera, they're supposed to allow you to out-process the base prior to starting Skillbridge if that's your desire, right? So you don't have to come back and out-process.
Yeah.
So that's up to your command's discretion in what you decide to do. If you want to move early, you can, right? There's nothing in our program that stops you. If you want to stay in Hawaii the whole time, it's because it's comfortable there, finish out the Skillbridge program there and then move, that's also an option, right? It's whatever you want to do, we support.
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to kind of get clarification so that I could communicate with my command and kind of get it cleared up.
Sure. And like if you're traveling during the Skillbridge period, right, if you're moving, just like with VA appointments and everything else, again, the beauty of this setup is it's remote, it's at your own pace, up to 40 hours a week, right? So for everyone on the line, it's benefit. If you guys need to go to VA appointments and medical appointments, out processing stuff, et cetera, you don't have to ask us, hey, can I go? Just note it when you check in that day or shoot us a message, but then, Slack the day beforehand, go to tomorrow, I won't be checking in like normal. Those are all allowable things as you're going through this process, right? It's a normal part of out processing the military. Again, as a military family ourselves, we understand that. So work those activities, just give us the heads up so that we have, knowledge of your whereabouts in case your command asks us, because a few of the commands have asked us for like accountability for folks, either printouts from Slack or just acknowledging that you're checking in every day, that kind of thing, right? So as long as we know that, we're good. And again, that goes to the moving. If you want to transition partway through the Skillbridge, that's part of you getting out and establishing your business. From my perspective, that's your choice to decide whether you want to sacrifice the training hours to do the transition, et cetera. For those that are new within the program and haven't heard this before, your access to our Skillbridge stuff does not like shut off on the day that you graduate, right? So when you exit the military, if you're not done with all your training,
Yeah, you don't get cut off.
this is a resource.
Continue.
Yeah, this is a resource we're providing to you guys with the plan of long-term partnership. If you want to remain in the program, want to remain partnered with us, don't have your license yet, still want to join EXP, whatever, we're still here to provide that training. You can still hop on these calls, right? You don't have to be in your actual active Skillbridge internship period to be able to do that. Our goal is just helping you guys as military transition out and successfully come on as realtors. So don't allow that to be a pressure point either, right? And feel like, oh, I have to get through every single thing before I.
Yeah,
before I
because
get done
most
with the
of you
program.
are getting your license while you're in our program.
Right.
So, you know, if you don't have the full 6 months, that can be a little bit difficult to complete everything and finish getting your license as well. Because some of you are only doing 2 months. So don't feel like you will just have this training completely pulled from you after you finish.
Does that help, Chris?
Yeah, that helps a lot. Thank you, David.
Cool. You're welcome. Who wants to go next? I know we had other questions popping up.
I did actually have 2 questions. One of them, so I was networking with, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Gates EXP down in San Diego.
No, I don't know the name.
Lindsay Gates, and so one of my friends is actually a realtor for them down there, and she was trying to recruit me. And I was like, I'm already working for the, it's like, oh, I know them. They're the couple that's running LA right now, and I'm like, oh yeah, they are. Yeah, so you guys are famous. They're talking about what's it called? The 80-20%.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that not them. My friend Tamara, who's working under them, was talking about a way to get 90 and 10, 90-10. That some groups are doing that also. Are you aware or heard of that before?
No, you can do that within your like team
Right.
structure. But as far as EXP, the agent knows
Right.
that you can, it doesn't matter your level of production, it's always 80-20.
Right. So EXP brokerage wide keeps it 80-20. So what they're probably referring to is within their team, the split to the team leader. There's different ways to organize teams, which we're still fleshing ours out as we're bringing them more agents dedicated to our team. But one way is setting people up where they're on what's called a half cap. And for that, you have to have a minimum 25% go into the team lead for all business. The other is a what's called a standard team. And the standard team allows you to do any type of split to the team lead you want. So there's people out there just to build their team name, if you will. I think it's the Leaf team was one of them. He's got agents in a bunch of different states on Zillow and stuff. He charges, I think, $1 a month for his, right? His goal is just getting this huge team nationwide. They're not really a team, if you will, but it's just getting that team name out to all states. So there's a bunch of different ways to do that. But one of the things that EXP prides itself on is no matter how big the agent or how small the agent is coming in, everyone's on the same split. We're all on 80-20. We all have that same opportunity. The only variance is how large your cap is. So again, you can do, if you go into a team like ours, you can do a half cap. So you're still on an 80-20 split with EXP, but you only have to hit $8,000 worth of company dollar to EXP or $40,000 in total commission. There's also what's called mega icon teams, which are the top level teams that you can get to in EXP. And if you get to that, that offers the team members the opportunity to do what's called a quarter cap. So your cap would only be 4,000 in EXP. So those are the only variances. Now, with all that said, if you do enough volume, you can earn your entire cap back, right? So we earned ours back last year. We're going to earn it back again this year, here in the next couple months as transactions close out. It is a lot of volume to get there, but there is that opportunity. You can earn it back in stock.
Okay.
So, but appreciate your response then as well when they tried to recruit you.
Oh, of course. And I was like, no, I'm here, right here.
Right.
And it's all the way in San Diego to be.
Sure.
But also on that note, with the Tasha, you were talking about the 25%, even if you're not the procuring, or even if it's in a different team.
Mhm.
So
you can do a referral it's basically a referral fee. And so, like for us, we're in California, so we're referring somebody in Ohio, we get 25% of whatever that final sale price is, and also
Right.
depending on their commission. And so, yeah, you can get that once you're licensed.
Got it. Okay. And then look, state of California allows for non-licensure also. Let's say if us future agents have like friends and family who are referring, they can receive also too, right? It all depends on states.
Yeah, so the tough part is within California, that's what's called a bird dogging fee, right?
Yeah.
So within California, I think the limit is, I mean, I went through my license stuff, 4 years ago now, but I think the limit is $50. It's very small.
Oh, okay.
You can pay, like friends and family, you could gift more, right? No one can stop you from giving a gift to your friends and family, but
Right.
if it's determined that it's based on, them introducing you to leads that close, and that's deemed commission, and now you are compensating someone for, and they are receiving compensation for activities that they're not licensed to do, which could cause you to get your license revoked.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's a no.
Yeah, so that one I would be very careful.
Copy.
Yeah. Now, what I would do, right, if you've got friends and family with big networks, and we've tried to get a couple of our friends to do this, and they're slowly coming along. But we've had friends refer people to us, right? And I'm like, why don't you get your license? I mean, the reality of it is, if all you're doing is to get your license and you're not trying to actively build a business, the license aspect of it, long term, is not as difficult as the business building aspect, and you can make the money just being a referral agent. So we've tried to get a couple of people just get their license so they can hang it with EXP and we can pay them referral fees. But so far they, life gets in the way, right? They got full-time jobs and everything else. So, but that's another thing that you could pose to friends and family that are interested. Hey, get your license, refer me business, and that way I can pay you a referral fee.
Okay.
So, and then keep in mind, I'll probably start mentioning this at every call that we have, since it's once a month and we constantly have new folks. And but we will be setting up, as we get more and more graduates, we will be establishing a Quilt Group Skillbridge referral network. And so all the graduates coming out of this will have access to that. So you all know that you went through similar training. You've got access to us, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we have a group already.
Right.
It's just for
building it out.
those who are licensed
Yep.
right now.
Yep.
Hmm.
So that'll be something to access. And then, if folks have referrals they want to place and they don't have someone in the area, and we don't have someone in the network, you can always reach out to us. If we've got someone available, we can point you in the right direction, so you have a good referral partner.
Got it.
You can basically make your whole business referral based.
Right. So with the whole referral base, and in addition to the DoD contract, though, we're technically not going to be making anything with that referral, correct?
Until you
we're-
complete your Skillbridge, correct?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we're not. We've already looked into it a couple times. We're not allowed to provide benefits. We can't do anything within the network outside of providing training based on DoD rules. So DoD looks at it and they go, they're still paying you full-time salary, right? So it's there in their mind, double dipping and potential conflict of interest and stuff like that. I wouldn't have an issue with it. Obviously, you're not representing the DoD in real estate, so I don't really see the conflict of interest. But as we all know, DoD doesn't necessarily follow the most logical paths at times. And trying to fight with the DoD and overcome current DoD regulation is just a losing battle.
Okay. All right. That's all I got. Thank you.
Yep.
So I have a question. As far as like the business expenses, is that something that we pay out of pocket as real estate agents, or?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
So
okay.
as you're planning to start your business, I mean, there's a lot of free stuff you can do as far as advertising and things like that when you first get going. Facebook's great for that, obviously, Craigslist, but Facebook just jumping in housing groups and making posts in there. Based on your state, most states require you, when you make social media posts, to disclose the fact that you're a licensed agent once you have your license. So you have to identify that, your brokerage and your license number. But you can drop stuff in there and try to find clients on a regular basis. The other thing that you can do once you get set up with EXP, since we have KB Core as our CRM software, you basically make sure first with the state broker that it's allowed, but look up listings within KB Core that are EXP listings within that state and then advertise. As long as it's allowed by the broker actually owns the listing, not the agent. So you can get the broker's permission and you can advertise other agents' listings in order to try to get buyers for those listings, right? And so that's another free way to do it. As far as overall expenses, I mean, your main ones initially starting out have probably about $1,000 total for the MLS, your local, state, and national association of realtors, and then you're going to have your $85 a month EXP fee. So those should be the main fees to budget for, and then anything that you want to do on top of that as far as systems, advertising, etc.
Okay. Man, I had a question, but it just slipped out. I'll try to remember it right now.
Okay. Yeah, if you remember it later and you want to, if you post it in the Slack channel, just tag me or Tasha on it, so it makes it easier for us to see it. For the question, we'll answer it for you.
By the way, I saw that you had a question about what people's daily schedule looks like. It's actually pleasantly surprised that a lot of people responded back to that. And I also have a training on that on my YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, I have, time blocking as part of one of my trainings. So I'll go ahead and put my YouTube channel is within the Gwilt Group University, but I will go ahead and find that and post it in the links. So give me this 1 second.
Okay, yeah, that'll be very helpful. I know one of the things that I struggled with during the internship was setting a solid schedule, something to follow day to day and stick to it, having it become routine.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, that's a major part of what's going to make you successful. So if you can establish a really good routine whenever you're studying, obviously it's going to be a whole different schedule once you're licensed, but just being able to stick to a schedule is going to be, it's just going to set you up for success.
Right.
You want to say more?
Right. And yeah, that's something I am trying to establish for myself. That way it can lead me to success.
Right. And I would say what works for one isn't necessarily going to be the same thing that works for someone else, right? It's all varying based on your personality type, when you're accustomed to waking up or when you properly function. Some people are, much better performance late at night than they are early in the morning. That tends to be me. I tend to get into a second and third wind later in the day, and early mornings just not great for me. So everyone's going to function differently on that. The other thing too that you'll find once you get going within the real estate business too is sticking to the schedule sometimes can be tough because you have to protect your schedule, and we don't necessarily do the best job of it all the time either. But fires constantly pop up, right? Escrow is constantly, hey, this is urgent. Client, this is urgent.
I'm
Seller,
definitely
this is
not
urgent.
perfect at adhering to my schedule.
Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff in real estate transactions that people say are urgent that are not really all that urgent and shouldn't take you out of your schedule. But again, it's tough to resist responding to it just to get it done with and allow those people to go back to working on the things they need to work on. So that's something that you'll see as you start getting going, practicing and getting clients.
As a new agent, how many hours of prospecting do you guys recommend?
So the standard recommendation is 3 hours per day, 5 days. And that's, generating new leads, following up with past leads. That. So texting, emailing, calling.
Talking to your friends, family, calling title reps, talking with other realtors is a way to,
networking.
Another way to generate for future business, right? Just to get to know folks and have higher opportunity to get your offers accepted and stuff like that. It can definitely help if you know the listing agent.
And would that be for like more of like a referral based kind of thing?
The referrals, from the referral side, what I would say is getting to know agents outside your area, right? In your area, they're going to refer to you, they're going to keep the business themselves. But getting to know them outside the area. So especially for folks in this group, I would recommend, there's several
Yeah, I
different
recommend
military
you're all getting
groups.
to know each other.
Yeah, get to know each other. And then there are several different military groups online that are, referral-based real estate groups to join that are free. And that way, when you see the area that you serve pop up, you can chime in, put your name in there, and then just start getting your name in there. Definitely helps. I've received referrals in the past on ones that we did not comment on, where people were like, hey, I made a post and then I searched for Los Angeles and we saw you guys were tagged a ton of times. So I just want to reach out to you and see if you'll help the client. And so that definitely helps, just getting your name out there over and over again.
Okay.
And then for those of you that are new here, we have past trainings that past videos that have been posted. So all of these calls are recorded. So I would implore for the new people and for those of you who may not have watched all of them that haven't been on them to go back and watch those, because they do have some really good information in there that I think you might find helpful.
Yep.
Got one quick question. For the you said $85 for the fee for EXP. That's monthly, right?
Correct.
For as long as you're part of the team.
Correct. Yeah, that's just as long as you're part of the EXP brokerage. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and that's paid straight to them. So to get your license and to be active, you have to have your license hung with the brokerage. So that'll be a payment that you'll owe once you want to make your license go active.
Okay.
And so I posted my YouTube channel in the chat bar. So if y'all want to go there, I'm actually going to share with you the Skillbridge YouTube channel. So that way those of you who haven't watched the past videos, you can go watch those. Hold on 1 second. And I think it's gonna kick us out in less than 3 minutes.
So you want to restart it, or what do you want to do?
No, in there.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we got time probably for one, maybe two more questions.
I'm just going to speak. Hello, everyone. I'm new also to the Skillbridge program. And the only thing I wanted to say is thank you to both of you. To me, this is amazing for me. I mean, to me, this opened up a whole new world as far as my transition back into civilian life. So, I mean, I am, just deeply grateful for the opportunity I have to participate in your program. So that's what I just wanted to say. Thank you so much for that.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
we
being
appreciate
here.
that.
Yeah.
One more question, guys.
Blossom, I feel like you have a question.
I actually don't. I attend like live Zoom classes, so they're really helpful because the instructor pinpoints like what's going to be on the exam, or look out for this on your certificate exam, highlight in the book. So I have a lot of interaction, but it would just be really nice to have like intern interaction, because a lot of the people I'm in school with are quite experienced. So I feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so lost. And they're like, we don't actually need escrow. And I'm like, you're not saying we don't need escrow. So there's a lot of things that like I'm learning that's new, that it would just be nice to be around others who have the same level of, knowledge. That way I don't feel like I'm so like, I'm like drowning in information, but it's only week 2, and it's been such a great experience. So just to reiterate, Victor, thank you guys so much for this opportunity.
Awesome. You're so welcome.
You're welcome, Blossom.
All righty. Well, I think that's gonna be the end of these calls. We're gonna stick with having the calls every second Wednesday. So this one was the only month that ended up being different. So did you have a question real quick, Tarnisha?
No, I just wanted to say thank you guys as always. I'm getting ready to go take my medicine and take a nap.
All right.
Okay.
You're welcome.
All right, you're welcome. Good to see you. All right, thank you all. Good to see you today. Thank you so much for coming.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Tasha and Dave.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You
Have a good
too.
night.